What I'm about to show you might be the worst thing that has ever been implemented in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. So welcome back, and we also have the new branded support besides Manadium, of course, which we played on the ladder yesterday. There is new stuff in branded, and namely Albion, the Sanctifier Dragon, which is, we can just read him, it's insane. Cannot be used as fusion material, that's okay. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. That's super strong because that means you already cannot be impermed. This guy cannot be impermed. You can only use each effect of the following effects, and also with 3000 attack, it's hard to battle over this guy. You can only use each of the following effects of Albion, blah blah blah, once per turn during your opponent's turn. So this is the first thing, right? Normally you can activate stuff like during your opponent's main phase, la la la, during your opponent's turn. You can all do this in battle phase. Quick effect, you can target 2 monsters in any graveyard, special summon both monsters, 1 to each field. So we can make the very annoying gimmick Puppet Lock, and that I will show you in this replay. But keep in mind that you could also use this guy just to get a really strong monster from your opponent's graveyard. So let's, for example, say your opponent had a Boral and Savage Dragon, or not the Boral and the Link 5, it's Boral and, right? Boral and Savage Dragon. You could just like get it to your field and give your opponent, I don't know, a Max C on their field. It's such an insane card. So how do you get to the new Gimmick Puppet Lock combo? So you want definitely access to your branded fusion and then also your new Quem. We'll get the branded fusion here, and then we can branded opening the Quem. Cartesia could also work. We can pitch the Albas, getting us the Quem. We are special summoning it to the field. And the Quem can now pitch the Cartesia in the grave, because we will be able, if you don't know the card, we will be able to resummon the Cartesia once a card leaves the extra deck. If this card is normal special summon, you can send 1 Fallen of Albas or 1 card that mentions it's from deck to the graveyard. And then if a card leaves the extra deck, you can target 1 Fallen of Albas or 1 monster that mentions it. Cartesia mentions it in your graveyard, and then special summon it. And the card leaving the extra deck means there is a fusion summoning happening, which is exactly what is happening right now. We are going for Albion, taking the Bestia Lubelion and our, what is this? This is our hand, this is our deck. The deck Fallen of Albas here to make our first Albion. So this is like the bare bone combo, but it's definitely enough to break your opponent. Also because we have another amazing new addition to this deck that it really needed. So this way we can get our Cartesia back to the field. Which obviously, if you have Cartesia, then this also works. Then you basically don't need the Quem, at least not in this iteration, I think. And now we go for Albion, which we can use one of our Fallen of Albas in the graveyard for. And then in this case, we use the Guiding Quem, because we need the Cartesia still for something else. Put it in attack position, you can lock the extra monsters on here, and obviously awesome effect here, by the way. And now we can go for the Bestia Lubelion, because we are still missing our branded Lost, which we can then use to search negate, monster negate. We go Bestia Lubelion, then we set the branded Lost, and now we can fusion summon with the Cartesia, because we are still missing the Gimmick Puppet. We can get to this with the Grungignol using this and the Aluber. And then we activate, doesn't really matter which chain link we do this, because our opponent cannot respond to this because of branded Lost. We are getting the Mercuria, which now we have a monster negate, and then we also send the Gimmick Puppet Lock to the grave. And the cool thing is we have this monster negate that basically relies on Albion, and Albion cannot be targeted with card effects. So getting rid of the Albion would basically mean that our opponent needs to go into the battle phase or Raigeki or something. So this negate here, which is basically bound to the Albion because Albion has the Fallen of Albas in its text, is very resilient, right? Okay, so this is our end board. We are going to set this now. We have the Gimmick Puppet in the grave, and now in the end phase we can get another really amazing new card, the Brightest Blazing Branded King, which says, trap card, choose 1 fusion monster you control that will be the Albas that mentions Fallen of Albas as material and negate the effects of all other face-up cards currently on the field until the end of this turn. So this negates everything. Unfortunately, also your stuff, so you really have to think about when you want to use this. The most sad thing I would say with this card is that you will negate your own branded Lost. That's a bit sad. And then there's another thing. During the end phase, if a fusion monster was sent to your graveyard, this happens a lot, obviously. You can add this card back from a graveyard to your hand. So classic branded stuff, always getting stuff back, and recursion of resources here. You could now get your Cartesia back to hand. We will keep it in the grave because Cartesia is the card that we want to get to our field, while we'll give our opponent the Gimmick Puppet. So keep in mind, this also basically face-up card, by the way, this also will negate our branded Lost, but we still have the Mercurial in hand, obviously. So we keep this engraved, don't want to activate this. And at this point, you could already use this right now. There is an argument to wait for stuff like this so that your opponent plays a card and then he cannot imperm you, but this card cannot be impermed, so whatever. We can just now do this. We choose the Gimmick Puppet and the Cartesia. It's crazy that not only do we lock our opponent out from special summoning, you want to put this in defense, but also we get the Cartesia, which we then can fusion summon with, right? And in an optimal world, you would want to use Cartesia fusion summon effect before you activate this here, because then you can still resolve your branded Lost, right? Because that's basically the only thing. This should be your last line of defense, and you can use, for example, the Grungignol and one dark monster. You can use the Grungignol, and in this case the Fallen I still have in hand. Unfortunately, all of them are light monsters here, but you could use the Grungignol and one of your potential dark monsters to go into Dragostapelia with the Cartesia. This is by far the best target. Then you could have another monster negate if you need it. Then you have the branded Lost, and then if everything fails, you also have your counter trap. And keep in mind, this counters everything, right? So if your opponent goes, I mean, he can't really go evenly matched, but he could tribute summon here and then attack and then evenly matched. This can also stop evenly matched, right? This can negate every face-up card on the field, whilst not negating the Albion. But that's not that important because we have already used the Albion. And at this point, our opponent cannot special summon this turn because of the Gimmick Puppet lock. We have a lot of negates. We have a monster negate in hand. We have a follow-up. We have our branded fusion in the grave, which we can get to. It's not that hard. We will get follow-up with our branded Lost. And yeah, so next turn you have a lot of big bodies on the field. One of them can basically not be destroyed, which you then can use to win the game. I have recently, I don't know where the statistics are, I have recently played this on the ladder and I went 4-0 just at the start of testing this. Because no opponent was able to beat this board. And now I will quickly tap out of here after I have showed you the combo and show you the deck list that I am currently using for this, so you can go and copy this and use it yourself to really annoy everyone on the ladder. I think we will see this a lot. The only unfortunate thing obviously is this is a bit weak to Called by the Grave, though. Keep in mind, you could just use your branded trap card to negate the Called by the Grave. You could do that because... or can you? Yeah, because you are choosing your Albion. This is the one that will lose the effect, and then this will negate the Called by. So if you goes Called by to go Called by the Gimmick Puppet, you could just use your counter trap, but keep in mind that everything else face up is then negated for that turn. So we have a Desmond Tragedy, 3 Maxi, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 Fallen of Albas. We have 2 Alubar, we have 2 Tribrigade Mercurial. You can swap this out for... by the way, this list is from shoutouts to the guy from Galzo, the branded master, you could say, which only plays branded in the TCG. If you have this, you can go for a Goat Sarcophagus instead of another Tribrigade Mercurial, because you basically only need this one in the start combo. We have a Spring and Skid to get to our branded fusion, 2 Blazing Cartesia here. Do I have a third one? No, I think we need a third one. We have Guiding Quem, you only need 1. We have Mystic Saronia, the Gimmick Puppet, a Nightmare, Albion the Shrouded, 2 Bestial Lobelion, 1 Foolish Burial, 3 Fusion Deployment, 1 Branded Fusion. Our Branded in Lost, this card is so cool. 2 Caught by the Grave, 1 Crossout Designator, 2 Branded Opening, 1 Branded in Rot, 3 Infinite Impermanence, the 1 Brightest Blazing Branded King, and then Branded Retribution. We have a Predator Dragostapelia, a Titanic Lad, the Ash Dragon, Sprint, the Iron Dash Dragon, 2 Albion, 1 Desping Caratis, 2 Mirror Jade, 2 Lobelion, Granginor, Rindbram, Albion the Sanctifier, Guardian Chimera, and the new Desmond Lulu Lilith, which this is definitely the card I think you don't need, but it's nice to have it in here, I guess. Keep in mind that you can also use the Guiding Quem when your opponent summons something from the extra deck. So, for example, a Link monster, let's say, I don't know, a Striker Dragon and Dragon Link. Then, if you have a Fallen of Albers in the grave, which is definitely not hard to get, right? Then you can activate the Guiding Quem because the card left the extra deck, special summon the Fallen of Albers, discard one hand card, and then directly in your opponent's turn go into a Mirror Jade, which obviously is a super strong boss monster. This is another thing that you can do with the Guiding Quem, besides what we just did here with the Gimmick Puppet Lock. So have fun, annoy your opponent, and I hope you liked this video. If you did, please consider subscribing, hitting the thumbs up and the notification bell, and we will see each other in the next one.